Hey Stoners, welcome to your Daily Pebble. As always, I am the ugly, the infamous Eric the Pebble Johnson. Today's episode, man, we got a bunch of stuff. Let's cram it in. Let's try and do this in under 7 minutes. Cameraman, if I don't make it in 7, throw a shoe at my face. Number one, we were talking with Lord Bradbury. We had talked about Simon Bradbury potentially being the King of England. That was corrected yesterday. He is a Lord of England. So we had a great conversation with him in regards to all the news about silicosis in the UK. So they've had mainstream news. They've had an article about killer kitchens in the UK. Anyway, Parliament met yesterday. It was an interesting meeting, a lot of data to get from that. And again, we can get more deep into this in a future episode, maybe even on the podcast Friday. But a couple quick takeaways from that. They're looking at it right now. They're not looking at a ban per se, but they just want to have more data. They're looking closely at the US and they're looking closely at Australia. A really interesting point, and I've shared this with a lot of people because it was the most interesting thing from what I was able to gather from that meeting, which was not a long meeting by any means, but a lot of really good data in there. But they acknowledged that they are working directly, so their version of OSHA in the UK is working directly with Australia's version of OSHA, which is Safe Work Australia. That entity was created in 2009, and they're the ones tasked with the ban and any of the regulation as far as silicosis and manufacturing of these products. So what we found was interesting is they said there was a relaxing of, I don't want to say regulation, but enforcement, a relaxing of enforcement on these new approved materials that weren't named in the ban, right? So crystalline silica slabs, essentially. And it seems like they've had a resurgence of silicosis cases or issues with this. They didn't specify, but it sounds like there will be some interesting data because we want this data from Australia, right? They banned a product 2 years ago, 2004 effectively. So we're in 2006, call it 18 months, soon to be 2 years in August. What data is showing us, right? Because for a lot of us, it is the process that needs to be focused on more than the material. Definitely want to get better materials, right? Toxic materials, any of those things that are, if there's a better version or alternate, obviously you want to look at that. But for a lot of us that are opposed to the ban, or at least don't feel like it's the right answer, is because you're taking away from the process and you're putting it on a material. And if you can't enforce that, right, can you really improve health for all the workers? So anyway, interesting data from Australia as they've been communicating with the UK. UK is going to keep a close eye on this is what it sounds like. So that was your first piece of information, and we got that from Mr. Lord Bradbury himself. So Simon, thank you for all that information. Number two, we actually have a couple things that are working through government right now. So there was an announcement, I believe it was yesterday, but the ITC is looking at an additional round of tariffs for Brazilian stone imports. So again, this would be probably on top of what is already existing, and it is a 25%. And this appears to be from a review last year, but they are looking at that right now. So man, just an additional round of pressure for the domestic industry. It does sound like they want to look at quartzite and exempt that again underneath its HTC code, I want to call it. Could be wrong on that, but I think it's HTC code. But they want to look at that, right? But quartzite might be exempt from that. So additional round of pressure there. I also was updated by a couple people that are on the HB 547. I believe that number's right, but this is the House bill that was introduced. This was essentially reprieve for wholesalers or manufacturers that are being sued for things that they have no control over to their contention. So HB 547 is currently being discussed in Congress. We'll keep an eye on that. I actually will be getting updates and I can update those on the comments in this post. So quite a few things going on, at the moment. One thing in a positive note, we have been officially accepted as the space to come to in July. So if you're looking for travel to a really interesting state, plan on being in Salt Lake City, Utah, July 15th, 16th, and 17th. The All Slab Fabbers are coming to town. They're great. I get a lot of questions on the two people that I'm scared of, because I've told you this, there's only two people in the industry I'm scared of. Cameron DeMille, I'm scared of him. Don't know why, but I definitely am, and I've told him this personally. And then number two, Cessation Hildebrandt. And if you don't know, now you know, but Chris Hildebrandt when he is cessation from smoking, which congrats to Chris. He's been doing really well with that. But I'm scared of both of those individuals. But Chris and the All Slab Fabbers team are coming to visit us in Salt Lake City. Cool thing with that, we're also going to have a bunch of other people coming to visit. So it'll be a really great time for us to elevate the fabrication, the wholesale, just the entire industry as a whole. So before that, you've got, I think next week, ISFA will be coming to little old Salt Lake City as well. We'll pop in on them, see how they're doing with their event. And then we've got the All Slab Fabbers event in July 15th, 16th, 17th. You get to come to my house and we get to have dinner and have fun, live music, all the things. So anyway, those are the big things coming up. We're going to do another stone model of the week because, hey, we're in front of it and we got a lot of stone to show. So this material behind me, this is an onyx. If you're familiar with onyx, it's one of the most translucent materials on earth. And it's used really good with aesthetics, right? If you're backlighting something. This one actually happens to be Fantastico onyx or black onyx. This material comes from Mexico. We actually have a direct line to the people that quarry, manufacture, and distribute this, and we were able to grab the last block of material in existence. So this quarry will be no more. They can no longer produce any meaningful block for slabs. So we'll talk about this in another episode, but there is a life cycle to quarrying. Sometimes it goes in spurts, right? When they can't pull good quality block and they have to take a season off, extract a bunch of poor block and use that for either road aggregate, road base, tile block, different things, but then they get back into it. This life cycle on the Fantastico quarry is done. So they have produced their last block and Stone Galleria gets the last of it, which I think, my cameraman will tell me, I think we've oversold it because we've told everybody about it. So anyway, it's the last of its breed. We're happy to have it at the good old Stone Galleria. So anyway, stoners, stay updated, stay safe. We'll be in contact, and namaste.